Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Tesla, let's go over the market, and let's figure out just what is happening to Tesla right now. A lot of frustrating movement, I think, for bears and bulls alike. So let's just discuss it. And yeah, as usual, if you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button as it does help a lot. This is not financial advice and I am not a financial advisor. And of course, as per usual, my membership section on YouTube is live. The link is down below in the description of the video, just $3 a month or $2.99 a month, I guess. You get access to my updates, thoughts, posts, etc. on Tesla as pretty much as moving throughout the day and all of that good stuff. So if you're interested, the link is of course down below. But with that being said and done, diving right into it, Tesla closing the day down. Actually, this percentage is a little bit incorrect. Nice little Cybertruck in the background there. Actually down 0.22%, right? Because this moves after hours technically. This is showing me after hours movement as well. 0.22%, which is going to be putting us at pretty much $238 per share. So what does this mean, right? What is happening with Tesla? I'm sure everyone's wondering, whether you're a bull or a bear. I mean, the bears got a little bit of a W here overall, but ultimately, obviously, bears are probably still overall probably losing, since the most likely they shorted prior to this little move all the way up here, unless you're just really good at timing the market. But regardless, what's happening? Let's figure it out. So pretty frustrating stuff, right? I mean, for the most part, let's just talk about my overall thought process here, I guess, if that makes sense on this close. So I'm going to read off what I posted actually here, just so I don't get the wrong information. So unfortunately, we couldn't get a doji. I was hoping we'll get a doji close on the daily. We didn't, which is a little bit unfortunate. We ended up getting an inverted hammer candle, which is a bearish hammer candle, but it is happening at the bottom of a downtrend. So I don't really view it as anything really important because, again, this is happening pretty much in a downtrend that we're in, obviously, right here, right now. So not that important, right? Same with QQQ. That's a pretty much just follow QQQ. QQQ arguably setting up a doji candle, though, which potentially could be the sign of a reversal, but you need follow through as per usual. So it's hard to say for sure. Even SPY is looking kind of, the market's not looking great. Let's just say that. The market's definitely not looking great. And Tesla today pretty much just followed QQQ, right? If you look at the movement candle for candle, it's pretty darn close, right? It's pretty identical. So that's something that, to note. But the main thing I'm looking at is this, right? The bad news is pretty simple. Well, we're below the 100-day moving average. We're below the 21 EMA. Right, and we arguably got rejected by the 100-day moving average today as well, which isn't great, right? That's not what you want to be seeing as a bull right here, right? And it's what the bears definitely want to be seeing. On the flip side, though, I guess the quote-unquote good news is that we're still holding this VWAP, right? This is, by the way, something I started using, this VWAP right here, right? We're holding it, right? From the lows over here, where pretty much we ended up swinging back up and kind of reversed the trend, if you will, right? From all the way over here, we've been kind of holding it. We bounced off of it once back here, right? We kind of held it and bounced off of it over here. And now we're pretty much doing it once again right around here. And it happens to, coincidentally enough, coincide with where the bull flag retest is as well, which is pretty much where we're at right now as well, right? We're still technically retesting, if you will, that bull flag, which looks a little more clean on the weekly. We'll take a look at that soon as well. But we're still holding above all those, and we're still holding above the bullish flag retest. And in my eyes, we're still arguably setting up what is it called? The hidden bullish divergence, where again the RSI is making lower lows, while the stock relative to where this lower low was made by the RSI is pretty much either at the same level, if not arguably making higher lows still, right? Even though the RSI is making very visibly and obvious lower lows. So potential in what's it called? I keep forgetting the name of it. The one I just said, I'm like blanking out on the name entirely right now, but you know what I'm talking about, the hidden bullish divergence. So, potentially setting up that, excuse me, as well on the 4-hour, excuse me, same concept as well, right? A little more obvious in my opinion, where same concept, right? We had this little low side by the candle right over here at 230, where the RSI was all the way here. Obviously, RSI setting a very obvious lower low, while the candles, of course, on the 4-hour are very much not. We're obviously setting a higher low compared to this, right? So another hidden bullish divergence over there as well. So we're kind of sandwiched in between these two catalysts, if you will, right? Again, below us we have, even the 50-day moving average is just barely below us. We're kind of like getting close to it as well. So, the VWAP, the bull flag retest, the 50-day moving average below us has support. We even have the volume profile below us right here. You can see that we are kind of so far still holding as a potential support, which is good to see. And then of course above us, what we have instead is of course the 100-day moving average, the 21 EMA, that's acting as a now resistance, and of course this kind of 240 like low-ish 240s level now, unfortunately acting as a resistance, which isn't great to see, right? Definitely want to be going ahead and breaking back above that, and I really want to see a weekly close, so in this case tomorrow, at least above 240, ideally above 242, and even better will be above the 21 EMA, which at least on the daily will be about 246, right? But at the very least, I really want to see 240 to 242. Like I really want to see a close above that level on the daily tomorrow. That'll be really nice to see. And the weekly, let's take a look at that very quickly as well. Same kind of idea overall. We're kind of, in that higher volume territory as well. But the weekly is a little more interesting and it paints a little bit of a clearer picture, right? So the weekly, we are still pretty much above pretty much every single, important moving average. This is the 21, I believe. Yeah. So we just barely closed below the 21 EMA today, but of course there's still tomorrow because the weekly candle doesn't close until, of course, tomorrow. So that's number one, right? But other than that, we're still above most moving averages. The 200-day moving average is well below us. We have the 50-day here. We have the 100 just not too far below us as well. The 21 EMA pretty much where we close. We still have the VWAP as well right here that we're kind of bouncing off of. We still have the bull flag we're bouncing off of. So technically, we're still in a good position here, but even though Tesla is technically still in a good position, it's also, in my opinion, on very thin ice here because any movement that goes, pretty much any movement that goes lower than yesterday's low is what I would say, right? Which yesterday's low is what? Double check and move this over here really quickly so I can get a better look. About 236. So pretty much if we ever go below 236 again, things are looking, not as, no bueno. Let's just say that. No bueno for sure. We're still technically going to be bouncing off this bull flag. The retest will still be there. And that's probably really going to start shaking out some people if we do go below 236. I really think that'll shake a lot of people out. Even I would consider, exiting at least some position, taking some losses, but just to at least, de-risk a little bit. But technically, even if we do go below yesterday's low, we'll still be retesting the bull flag, right? We'll still be holding the 50-day moving average, and we could still potentially get a very large bounce, kind of similar to what we had over here on this candle, where I'm 100% sure this shook out a lot of people. It almost shook me out as well. But ended up just recapturing it substantially, like absolutely like astronomical bull trap here, right? And that wouldn't surprise me if we get something like that again. But again, we're in a really weird limbo situation where it's technically still bullish. I think the overall structure and picture for Tesla is still bullish here because, again, we still broke out of the bull flag. We're still technically holding above the bull flag, and we're still technically retesting the bull flag on this weekly candle, right? So tomorrow's pretty important in my eyes, but again, like I said, it's also on thin ice. Now, taking a look at options flow over here, right? We have a lot of mixed option flow here for sure, but increasing the premium here, right? We do have a pretty large put here for almost 2 million premium, 240 puts expiring January 2025. It's most likely a hedge, right? It's very, very far out, but very, very short term. We have a lot of more bullishness, right? Like this short term 1.2 million call, 235 call expiring 19th of January. We have repeated 166.7 calls here expiring also 19th of January. Same thing, 19th of January here. Substantially in the money, but nonetheless almost $1 million in premium as well, but also just very much in the money, so it's pretty safe. But nonetheless, we have some short-term calls coming in for Tesla, so fingers crossed on that one as well. But long-term, we have a bit of a hedge right here, potentially for 2 million premium, so we'll see how that plays out. But all in all, I think tomorrow is important, right? The MACD is pretty much flat, right? So it's not looking bad or great. It's literally just flat. It doesn't know where it wants to go. The TTM squeeze is still squeezing on the weekly. It's still squeezing on the daily. It's back to neutral on the daily. It's pretty much at neutral on the weekly as well. Like it doesn't really know where it wants to squeeze. Tesla is just frustrating both sides right now as much as possible. The only people that are winning from this right now are people that are selling options. Thankfully, I did sell options, not obviously as aggressive as I in hindsight would have liked to, but at least I'm making some money. That's like, realized profit, if you will, pretty much by tomorrow, because it is a weekly that I sold. I sold puts and I sold calls. I sold calls, thankfully, before the drop yesterday. So, at least I'm making something on that. So it's not all bad news, but I did sell puts yesterday as well that, hopefully I won't have to close for a loss tomorrow if we just crash tomorrow. I don't think we will, but we'll see how that happens. But ultimately, people that are selling options, especially calls, are definitely benefiting off this move, at least to a certain extent. But yeah, we're just eating away premium. We're frustrating both sides, and Tesla is just frustrating a lot of people. But the thing that's annoying and the thing that it likes to do is, especially Tesla, I don't know why it is, but just specifically Tesla, these really volatile like tech stocks like Tesla, sometimes NVIDIA, things like that, they like to do these really kind of almost obnoxious moves like this, where it's just super annoying, super confusing. It feels dead. It feels like it's just not going anywhere. And then once a lot of people kind of just give up and they just move on from it, they actually take a loss, maybe they get shaken out, whatever, that's when it does the move, and it really likes to do that. So that's kind of what I'm still hoping for here, in all honesty. But I wouldn't be surprised if it does a bit more of a shakeout, which sucks because if it does another shakeout from here, it's going to be a pretty fierce shakeout. I think it'll be a pretty substantial one too, which can potentially get a lot of people, may even get me. We'll see how it goes, of course. But yeah, we're in a pretty we're in quite a pickle here. We're in quite a pickle here. So we'll see how that plays out. If we go over to 65-minute chart, for instance, we have order blocks over here. So we are in a buy order block right here that we can see right now. We have the next sell order block sitting all the way up at pretty much almost 270. So that's something to note. And then of course on the 15-minute chart, again, also in this, buy order block, but we do have sell order blocks that have, of course, negated us today, that did push us back down and did pretty much close us pretty much at the lows of the day, which is unfortunate to see. So that's, not great. But if we go over back to the 65-minute chart, bring up the stochastic over here as well, you can see making a bit of a bullish divergence, right? Same with the RSI, making some bullish divergences on the RSI and the stochastic, as we know, essentially, as we're making pretty much equal lows over here, if not arguably lower lows compared to, like, let's say these candles back here. We're making higher lows on both of them. So that's not a bad sign to see. So that's at least something. So we have some bullish divergences here. We have some hidden bullish divergences on the 4-hour and the daily. So I still think it looks bullish. I know that might be crazy. I know some people might be thinking, wow, this guy's only a bull, but I'm just saying what I see. Obviously, like I said, it's on thin ice. It can change pretty quickly. This is going to be we're on thin ice. This can change pretty quickly to being bearish. But I just don't think it has just yet. It has the potential to, but it hasn't yet, at least in my eyes. We'll see how it plays out. But that's kind of the main thing I'm seeing. Now, if we do hold this area and let's say we do actually bounce, the first level I'll be looking at is at the very least above the 100-day moving average, above 242, followed by above 245 to 246, which also recaptures the 21 EMA and gets us back above this little congestion zone that we had a lot of issues before. Remember back here, right? We had a lot of congestion period and then we finally broke out and we had that beautiful run up. Well, we're pretty much right back into it. So we'd want to be breaking above that once again. There's also potential that we're setting up an inverted head and shoulders here just a regular head and shoulders here, which is of course the bearish version of the head and shoulders pattern, which can potentially look something like this, right? This is also a possibility, which can still take us back into the 250s potentially even, right? Or at least tap the, high 240s roughly. But yeah, there's a potential for an inverted a regular head and shoulders pattern here, which of course can be potentially bearish. Naturally, there's still a lot of work to do to set up the right shoulder, but that would mean that we pretty much just go sideways for quite a while here. Honestly, it would mean that we pretty much go sideways up until earnings. In all honesty, that absolutely can be the case where we just go sideways until earnings and we pretty much do nothing. And everyone that's buying options right now is just getting eaten alive as Tesla does literally nothing. And then who knows what happens post earnings, right? So we're in a weird situation, man. I'm not necessarily happy with it. I'm not unhappy with it necessarily because we're still holding above the bull flag, but I'm not happy either. It's just painful to watch, really. It's just painful. It's just lame. It's just kind of sucky, right? It's just not great, really. Not great. Not healthy looking price action. Not something I'd want to see and something I wish that we weren't seeing, honestly. But we'll see. Tomorrow's a pretty important day. I really want to see how tomorrow closes for the weekly candle as well. And hopefully tomorrow's, fingers crossed, a green day. If it is, I think things are actually looking a lot better for Tesla. And I think we can get a pretty nice start to next week. If not, and we just pretty much do nothing like today, more or less, and we just dance around 240. And that's where we close tomorrow as well. Well, still looks better than it does, still looks more bullish than bearish, but that also probably means that, there's a chance that we just go sideways into earnings, which would be kind of sucky, but it is what it is. But all in all, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. And as usual, of course, I will see you tomorrow. Peace.